You don't need to submit, but it's something that I recommend you do. So the question the brother is asking, I think it's very important because you should be curious. So why am I using this tool? Why am I submit? But it's something that I recommend. Why am I using this tool? Why am I not using that tool? So I think it's a very, very important question. So assignment, check what is the difference between Microsoft Excel and then SQL. Okay. All right, and read more on it. You would probably have answers to your question. All right, so let's start for today. Good evening, everyone. We're starting a bit late, 4 minutes. Just trying to take some questions. I hope we are all doing well. Yes, so today we'll continue with our SQL class. I sent, excuse me. I sent the data already on the Discord channel, so please check it. The data we'll be using today alongside the one we used yesterday, actually. So we're using both of them at different times. All right. So I expect that we already imported our data. If not, please, you can do that now while we talk. So the same process, so just import the data into your SQL server. All right. So you would notice that it's a data that you are familiar with, and even the one we used yesterday is something that you're familiar with. And the reason for this is to give you a kind of continuity such that what you already did in Excel, you can actually see that you can do the same thing in SQL, right? So coming back to what we started with a moment ago, talking about their differences and similarities. They actually do the same thing, but the use case depends on the scenario or circumstance you find yourself. So that's why we are trying to repeat those data sets and then trying to use them in different scenarios. So our table of content, I'll take questions in a minute. Our table of content, we already completed the installation of SQL. We looked at introduction to databases and SQL yesterday. And we looked at importing data to SQL Server. And then we started with some SQL basics, syntax, component, and all of that. So we'll continue from there today, and then we'll see how far we can go. Okay. So yesterday we stopped at where clause, right? And pretty much impressed about our understanding of how we have been able to quickly grasp the concept of the where clause, especially the wildcards, because I actually put a test now, as usual, on our Discord, and I think a number of people are doing well with it. So I actually made a mistake. Excuse me. I made a mistake with the question, so there are actually two answers there. So if you chose either of them, then you are right. So today we'll continue with group by, but let me have Winnie. Can I hear your question so that we can continue? Please,
thank you so much.
In the meantime, please try to bring in the data is sent to us today. Try to bring it in your SQL. Okay, so let's have you, Winnie.
Idris, I am having a problem still with uploading the CSV to my database. I don't really understand because even when I search for it, I cannot find it on my desktop. I've saved it on my desktop, but I cannot find it. I don't know whether
are you using
there's something wrong.
Are you using import flat file or import data?
Yes.
Which
I went through exactly the same procedure we did.
Can you confirm which you're using on the chat? You just put it on the chat or your Discord. I'll be checking it while I take the class. So let me know, because if you are using import, because let me show you what I mean. If you have task, you have import flat file, you have import data. If you use import data, you will not see it. So
I'm using flat file.
Flat file, and then when you browse, you could not find your data.
No, I cannot.
And it's not
I haven't restarted the laptop. I don't know.
maybe then it's not something I can resolve now. So maybe after the class we can talk about it.
Oh, all right. That's fine. Thank you.
All right, so continue. I want to bring in my day 8, right? So for some of us who already uploaded the reason why I did not do mine is because I wanted to show you something. But if you have, it's still not a problem. You can continue. So one thing is you can change the name of the table in your SQL server, okay? So because right now it's called day 8, and I feel like day 8 does not make sense. So I want to give it a more easy to remember name. So this is where you can change the name while you are uploading the data. Okay, so you can see customer name. The table name now has been changed to customer. So, and then I click on next, the same thing as we did yesterday, and then finish. And then we have success. So close it. And then if you check your tables, we have our customer. Oh, okay. So I think I uploaded it before. So I have to delete one of them. So let me delete this one. Delete. Okay, that is going to take me some time. Okay. So sorry, you have to wait for a moment. Okay. So while we wait for that, we would continue with group by. Okay. So this is a very, very important concept in SQL. Everything we've done so far has been nice. Select from where, and then group by brings us into a different phase. Okay. It's not to scare you because we've done it before in Excel. Okay. So by the time we finish, you would understand what I'm saying. So from the definition we have here, it says that from the definition we have here, it says that group by clause is used to group rows that have the same values in one or more columns. Okay, so I know that definition sounds somehow. So let's take a look and see how this works in real life. In order that you may understand this, I would like to make reference to, let's see, day 6, our Excel. Let me see if what I want is in day 6. Okay, yeah, it is in day 6. Now, if you remember your day 6 for our Excel class, while we try to analyze, we had to create pivot table. Do you remember? And then in our pivot table, what we're doing, of course, we started with the first one, which is like the total customers, you know, and then we try to see a breakdown of the customers based on different dimensions. So here it is based on married and single. Here it is based on gender, here, and so on and so forth. So what you're actually doing here is you are trying to break down a measure, right? In this case, the total number of customers by, okay? So, of course, in the case of this one now, married did not just appear once, right? It's appeared a lot of times, multiple times. So, but what happened here was a summarization. So, you know, I told you about that aggregation. You remember when I say you try to bring in several things together and compound them into one. So there was a summarization that was going on here because if you check the original data, there were a lot of married people. But what this does is it helps us either count or sum, depending on whatever we want to do, and then gives us one value that represents the summary of all others. Do you get the concept? So this is exactly what group by means. So you can actually say that you are trying to group the total customers by a particular dimension. All right. So I know that's still like a lot. So let's go over to SQL. I think by now my SQL should be fine. Oh, it's still acting up. This is weird. Who is holding my SQL today? Anyone? Who is holding it? Okay. Okay, let me quickly shut it down. Sorry about this. Don't know why it's acting up. All right, so let me open it again. So we can start. All right. Okay, so if we check our databases and our tables, we still have them. So it's not deleted. So I'll just be using customer. So I think this is the one I created in the class now, and then this is the one we have before. All right. So now, before we start, there's something I actually want to show us, and only one person asked me that question. So I want to assume that many of us did not actually practice our SQL. Because if we did, I was expecting us to get some errors. Either you did not practice or you found a way to solve the problem. But I believe for majority is that we did not practice our SQL. Am I right? Tell me the truth that I'm right, that you did not practice your SQL.
We practiced it.
You practiced and you did not get any error. That's true.
It depends on the error. It depends on the error you're talking about.
Okay, what was the error you got? You got shown for me.
I think when I was trying to get the date.
No, that's not the error.
Yeah,
I mean, before you start from beginning, as soon as you connect and then you are trying to run your.
Okay. The database, it defaulted to master, so you have to select the summer LearnCamp database again.
That's someone who practiced. Yeah. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So if you open a new file, I mean the file that we had before, which is first class, we saved it from yesterday. Okay, this is actually, I guess maybe that's why some of us did not get the error, because in the past it will not automatically pick it up. So, but now I think it's doing that. So let me explain what I mean, because someone actually asked that question. So at this top, you would see available databases. Can you see it here? So sometimes, due to one reason or the other, you might want to switch from one database to another, and then you want to query from that other database. If you write a code that is to fetch data from a table that is in another database without changing to that database here, you are going to get an error. So let me show you what I mean. Now it's actually on summer LearnCamp, right? Which is the database that we are using. So let me change it. We don't have any other database. We just have one. But let me change it to master. Okay, master is like the default master database. Okay. Now, when I change this to master, in fact, you can see now that I'm already having errors. Are you getting the point? So I'm having errors. And if you just hover on this error, it says invalid column name. If I over here, invalid object name. If I try to run this query now, the query that was working yesterday is saying that invalid object name. So it means that it cannot find this supermarket sales table. And that is true because supermarket sales is not in masters. We did not create it in masters. It's actually it's actually created inside of summer LearnCamp database. So all you need to do here in this case is to come here manually to change it to the database you want. So whenever you run through this, you run into this error, especially when you have several databases, this can really happen. So you need to know which table, where is the table coming from, which of the databases, and then you can switch. So if I try to switch back to summer LearnCamp, you can see that all those errors are gone because yes, it can find some supermarket sales inside of the summer LearnCamp. I hope that is clear. So I know we will still run into this error. It's something that you cannot really avoid. So that's what I'm showing you. You might want to wonder, like, all the time, do I have to like manually change it? Well, there's a way around that, but I don't want to bring a lot of confusion. So you can actually use a function called use, so you can actually say, okay, let me show you. So let me make it more interesting. So let me switch it back to master. And then here, I'm going to write something that use summer LearnCamp. So I'm going to tell this guy in my code, so I'm not changing it. It's still in masters here, but the moment I wrote this, you can see that all of the errors are gone. So what this does is that you are telling it that this is the database I want you to use. So it means that I don't have to be manually changing this all the time, because you might have a code that you want to run like behind the scenes without you even having to open your SQL at all, right? So this automatically will be switching. So let's say I got here now, and this table I want to fetch is also from another database. I will just use the name of that database. So when the query is running, the moment it gets here, it's going to see change the database automatically, and then so you won't have any input in it. So this is a more ideal way, proper way. But you won't find the relevance at this stage because we are not doing compounded coding. But these are just the ways you can you can switch your database. So let me just take that away. It's not part of the class, and return this back to summer LearnCamp. Okay, I hope that is clear. So let's go back to our group by. So I'll come down here, and then we want to look at group by. Excuse me. Okay, so now if you check my slide, my presentation actually have something on group by here. So I said that group by allows us to perform segment analysis on our data at various levels of granularity. So just like I showed you in our pivot table, exactly the same thing. So you're trying to perform analysis based on several levels. So it could be based on the gender, it could be based on, you know, the type, the wealth, all of these things. We did the example, we did the project, so you are familiar with these things. So now there's a thing you need to know. So group by is often used with aggregate functions. I told you about aggregate functions, right? So we talk of count. You are familiar with count, right? So the same thing is here. You are familiar with max, mean, sum, average. Everything that you did in Excel, they are also here. It could be like the way it's used is different, but everything is also here. So group by is often used with aggregate function to group the result set by one or more columns. And this makes sense because if I'm trying to bring several things together into one, so I need to perform an operation. So it's either I'm adding them up, or I'm counting them, or I'm finding the average. An operation has to be done, right? So that's the logic. The same thing that we did in Excel, right? So when we bring it to the rows, and then you take it to values. And then under values, you can either do count, you can either do sum, and then you get the result. So let's see how that works here in SQL. So this is the format, select from, and then you have your group by. So let's write code. So the same thing, let me first run everything. Let's see all the results that we have. So we have all of these things, right? So let's assume I'm interested in knowing please, if you're muted, stay muted, please. So let's assume we're interested in knowing the breakdown of the total orders by city. This is one of your project tests in the weekend, right? So we want to see how many orders we got from Yangon and so on. So this is how you are going to write the code. Again, I will just copy this guy, select. So let me change my comment to breakdown of the total orders by city. Okay, so select all from customer type. Now what we want to do is we want to have our cities, right? That's the idea, that's the logic, right? So we have our cities, and then we'll have another column that is going to tell us the total number of orders we have, right? Is that not? Please react. Let me know that you're following me. Just react or say yes in your chat, please. So because now we are doing more complicated stuff, I don't want to assume that you understand. Just say yes if you understand what I'm saying. So we would have like the city, and then we'll have a column that is going to give us the value, right? The total number of orders, just like we've done in Excel. So it means that I'm not going to be doing select all here. What I want to do is select city. Okay, that is the first thing. And then after city, I want another column, right? That is going to give me the total orders that we have, right? And based on the analytical experience that you have now from Excel, what are we going to do to get the total number of orders? What do you do to get the total number of orders?
Sum.
You count.
Is this sum or count?
Count.
Count, good. So count is what you will do in Excel. So same thing here, you'll be doing count. So let me show you how you use that here. So the emphasis here is not on the function. So that's why I'm not really doing a lot of that. We'll still talk about functions. So we want to do count. Okay, so this is how it is used here in Excel, in SQL. So count, what do you want to count? So we could count maybe the invoice ID. Okay, because this is like, or you could even count the city. Anyone you want to count is fine. So if you count city, okay, So select city, comma, count of the city. So we have a colon that we have all the city, and then we have the second one that will give us a count, right? From supermarket sales. Now, if I run this query, there will be an error. Okay, so that is where what is being explained here. Okay, so whenever you use any aggregate function, you are expected to use the group by clause, because it's the group by that tells how do you want to break down this aggregation. So if you are looking at count, if you are looking at sum, if you are looking at whatever, on what basis, based on what do you want to break this down? In our example in Excel, we had different breakdown. So we did breakdown based on marital status, we did breakdown based on gender, we did breakdown based on occupation. So SQL is interested. Based on what do you want to do this breakdown? Are you getting the idea? So I want to do this breakdown on what? On city, right? So what I'm going to do straight is to say group by city. That's all. So once you say group by city and you run this query now, Excel is going to give you, sorry, right? I don't know why I keep saying Excel, call up myself. So SQL is going to give you the number of orders that we have in each city. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, why is it giving no column name?
Don't worry about that. I will come back to that. I'm still coming. But do you understand what we just did?
Yes, yes. Very well.
All right. So let's take. I just thought of something now. So let's take an example from here. That was what actually sent this data. We have this data now, right? So let's use an example from here. So let's try to query our data, which is the customers, right? That we just brought in. So select. Let's confirm that it is what we want. Select all from customers. So we could use customer. Okay, they are the same. So I was the one who did it 2 times. So this is what we have, right? And then we have male, even though we've not changed it now, it's still the way it is before, but we'll manage it like that. So because we know that S means single, M means married, right? So let's try to do the same thing and see if we'll get the same result that we have in our pivot table. So who can tell me how I'm going to write this now? Anyone who wants to try? So I want to calculate the number of customers that we have based on the marital status. So who wants to try? Anyone? Okay, no one is confident yet.
Let me
Okay,
try. Let me try.
Please go ahead.
Select marital status.
Marital status.
Please come again with your question, please.
We want to calculate the total number of customers based on the marital status.
All right. Select marital status, comma, count customers from
customer key. We have customer key, they're not customer.
Oh, customer key, yeah.
You could also count the marital status. Anything you count.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
That's all.
From.
Okay. Let me.
From customer.
Wait. When I run this, look at the error that we have. What is the problem? Read the error. What's the error? Can you see the error?
Yeah.
So what's the error?
I think customer marital status is invalid. In the select list because it is not contained in either or aggregate function or the group by class.
Do you understand the error? I'm just showing you how to troubleshoot and how to decode errors because you always run into errors. Do you understand what that error is saying?
No.
Read it again now.
Is it okay? That means customer marital status is invalid in what I selected list.
Why?
They are contained because they contain either an aggregate function or the group of.
It is not.
Oh, yeah, it is not contained either an aggregate function.
So what is missing in our code?
That means
The group by itself.
No, wait.
from
No,
cost,
one person.
from
by
not
yourself.
from customer,
One
from
person
super.
is talking. No chorus answer. Let him continue, please. Yes, go back. Go on. Go
Okay,
on.
let me go on. From super, go back again. Clear the customer from not from customer, from
From where?
supermarket sales.
Oh, don't worry. It's okay.
No, customer.
It's okay. It's okay. Just thank you. Thank you for trying.
It's because we don't have
I did not ask. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Let me explain. I want to be sure people understand. So let me explain again. This is a different example so that you guys can understand it. So this first one, what we are trying to do is to do a breakdown of the total orders by city. Okay. So I said we have our city, and then we want to count just exactly what you have here. Something like this. So you want to find a breakdown, you want to compound, you want to summarize, right? Based on a particular dimension. So here it is based on city. And then the logic is still the same in all cases. So once you have that, your dimension, the next thing is for you to have your aggregate function. Here, our aggregate function is count because we actually want to get the total orders. And the total orders is by counting. You're not summing anything. You count the number of orders that you receive. Okay. And then I explained that if you run this query like this, even though there is no error, I mean, there's no underline, SQL is not underlining anything, it's not going to work. And the issue here, this is it. I explained to you, but now I'm trying to make you read errors so that you can get used to troubleshooting stuff. So read what you see here. It says, supermarket sales.city, that is the city column, is invalid because it is not contained in either an aggregate function.
I get it now.
Please, don't interrupt the class like that. Because it is not contained in an aggregate function or the group by clause. So it's saying that it's either there is no aggregate function here, or maybe there's no group by. But that is the issue. So, but here we can see that we have an aggregate function in what I ran. What is missing is what? It's a group by. So, and I had my group by. So group by means like, what are you breaking it down on? So I'm breaking it based, you could break it based on city, you could break it based on gender, different things. But I am saying I want to break it down based on this city. And then you can run it. So if I try to take away this count now, for instance, and I run this code, it's going to give me, this is weird because I was not even expecting it to run anyways, but let me leave it. Let me ignore that. So once you run it together now, you would find out that you have a breakdown of your orders by the city. So now I was trying to take us to another example of a different data, which is the customer table. So I'm saying that you should find the breakdown of the total customers based on their marital status. So breakdown of total customers by marital status. All right. So the same thing. So we are doing count. We are counting the customer key from customer. This will not run because we have an aggregate function, but there's no group by. So you need to add your group by. What are you grouping by? The marital status. And that's all. Okay. So once we run this now, you will see that we have male 161, I said male, married 161, single 166. That's it. And if you check your, is it not the same thing? It's the same thing. So that's what you need to do all the time. So let me give you something to try, because I know a lot of us are really itching to answer questions, but I don't want you to distract people who still haven't gotten it. So that's why I'm trying to give it moderation. So we have 1 minute to look at let me see our supermarket sales table. Now in your supermarket sales table, find the breakdown of the total quantity. Now let me make it more interesting now. The total quantity by branch. The total quantity by branch. I'm already giving you the mini project questions the type of questions for your mini project. I'm already giving you now. So because I want you to be thinking right from now, right from this class, you should be thinking. So the total quantity based on the branch. So we have 1 minute for that. The total quantity based on the branch. So 1 minute. 1 minute for that. So that we won't be confused, I'm going to write the name of the table here. So we're using supermarket sales here. So if anyone is done, please put done on the chat. The total quantity based on the branch. Done. Okay. Okay, thank you for this comment, Ayola. I think that was what I was trying to explain earlier. Thank you. Okay, Abby is done. Nice. Okay, Aguda is done. So let's have Mr. Aguda. Can you tell us what your code looks like? Can you read it out? So I'm going to type. Yes, Mr. Aguda. Are you there? Okay, someone put it on the chart. So let's take a look at this. No, you didn't get to my question. Think about my question very well. Mr. Aguda, are you there? If it's not there, let's check Habi. Is Habi there? Can you unmute yourself and tell us what your code looks like?
Yes, I'm here. Good
Okay.
evening.
Good evening. So please go ahead.
So I said select branch,
Hmm.
comma, then count in brackets quantity from supermarket sales, group by branch.
Group by branch. I love the confidence. Okay. Oh, sorry, group by branch, not supermarket sales. Okay. So how many of us agree with this? Let me see your hand up.
Yeah,
I don't.
You too. Hand up. This is a simple instruction because the noise will just raise up your hand if you agree with that. Okay, 3 people. 4. Oh, someone is even clapping. Okay, good. Okay, someone said doesn't agree with that. Who is that person? Oh, because I say you're even clapping, they are dropping the hands. Sorry.
That's me. I don't.
Okay. So now I love, so this person says she's correct. Now I love this because it shows that we still, I don't know. Now, Abby, unmute yourself and let's talk, let's discuss. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah.
So now look at this quantity column. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. Let's assume that I have Abby.
I'm here.
No, I'm writing something. And then we have John. 3 of us, right? We made orders in a store, right? And you got 10 of those products. That's quantity, right? And then I got 5 of those products. And then John got 6 of those products. How many orders did we get? Did the store get? How many orders did the store get? No, don't be
21.
No, how many orders? Okay, this is the idea. Okay, I think you need to get the scope. So when I make an order, let's say, what can I assume I'm buying? So I'm buying maybe fish. I don't like food, guys. You probably see me do a lot of food examples. I'm not a foodie, but so let's say I made an order. You made an order for fish, right? So you got 10 in one order. And then I got 5 fish in one order. And John got 6 fish in one order. How many orders do we have altogether?
3 orders.
So how many fish? What is the quantity of fish we got?
21.
So do you understand the differences now?
Yes. I'm sorry.
You are sorry about what? What you did?
My answer, yeah.
Okay, so you know your answer is not correct now, right?
Yes.
So do you want to correct the answer? Should I give you another chance?
Okay.
Okay, so let's go back to SQL. So what should be the correct answer?
Sum for the quantity.
Good, thank you. So for those who were clapping, I hope you understand.
Thanks for clapping, guys.
Okay, so the association of she's appreciating you guys for the for the support, but you did not support the writing. So hopefully you can. So the idea is you need to understand. You don't just look at it anytime I want to use some. You have to think, right? Very important. So they are asking for the total quantity. So here the quantity here is 7. Here the quantity is 5. Different numbers. So this is how you can count, because you're not counting quantities. They've given us, so you need to sum them up. They are not asking for the total number of orders. Do you get the idea? So please, so it should be sum, not count. So once we run that, we can see now that our answers are different indeed. So we have 1,859 quantities of that product that was sold for A, and then for C, branch C, and so on. You get the idea? So again, this is just more on the use case of this sum. I know some of us have seen, I solved those questions. I did not even answer some of them for our project in the midweek, at the end of the week. Some were still asking total, is this sum? I will just look at the question that I will not answer, because I expect you to know those things by now. So those are like some count. There are a lot of them, but we are not doing those functions yet. So the point here is just to show you the importance of the group by clause. Do you understand the group by now? Do we all understand the group by? Do we understand the group by? All right, I believe so. So now, one more thing I need to call your attention to is the fact that there are scenarios where I use my aggregate function without group by, and it's going to work. You might be thinking, is this guy contradicting himself? Because I actually said in the presentation that group by is often used with aggregate function. So and I'm saying now that there are situations where you can actually use your count or your sum, and then your without group by is going to work. So let me show you those scenarios. So before I show you in SQL, let me show you here. So here in our pivot table, there were scenarios where we try to group by, right? Different stuffs. And then we have this guy here. We did not divide it on anything. So we only just calculated the total number of customers. So we're not breaking it down by anything here. So when you just do your count or your sum, whatever, without breaking it by anything, you will get your result in SQL. So I know that's probably like a lot. So let me show you what I mean by that. So if I copy this code now, and I try to bring it here, and I say the total quantity. So I'm not doing based on anything. I just want to find the total quantity. So of course, I'm going to take off branch, and then I'm going to take off group by again. So let's see if this is going to work. So once I run this code, it's going to work because I'm not breaking it down on anything. So I'm asking it to just give me the sum. Do you get the idea? So this is the only case where you don't use that group by. So the moment you have to break it down by any dimension or any column, you must use that group by. But if not, then it will work. I hope it is clear. Is it clear? Is it clear? Good. All right. Thank you.
Yes.
Should we take a break or we continue for maybe to take this second? Okay, let's take this one and then we'll take a break on some for it. I know we've not done a lot today. We've been talking. So the next one is the halving. So please take note, the order of using these statements are how we have been learning them. So it means no point will you have group by come before where, no point. Anytime you must use a where and a group by together in the same query, where must always come before group by. You cannot have where come before from. You cannot have from come before select. So that is the order. That's the way they have to appear. Do you understand? So select from, if you must use all of them that we've learned so far, it has to be select from where group by. You cannot have select from group by somewhere and then you now have where. Your query will be wrong. So please take note of that. Very important. So the next one now is having. This is a very, very important thing that I need you to listen to and pay your attention to, please, guys. Okay, because of the concept, so let's take a break for 4 minutes and then we'll be back so that you can refresh before we take this. So 4 minutes. If you have questions, please, let's ask. But we are going on a break for 4 minutes. So let's come back in 4 minutes time. Thank you. If you have any question, I'm here. I will take the questions.
Hello,
Yeah.
good evening.
Yeah, please go ahead, sir.
I actually missed the class when we were talking about the breakdown by marital status. And I think on my own sheet, you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Status on the column. So
I'm not sure I understand what you're
clarity
saying.
on that.
On what?
The breakdown by marital status.
You might have to cut
Yeah,
because I don't think I would want to go back on that explanation. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. You might just have to cut the video again.
No problem. No problem.
But what don't you understand? Is it that you didn't catch it at all or you don't understand it?
Yeah, I didn't catch it at all because my network was bad. So I missed that part.
If that's the case, you might want to check, but let me just see if I can use some 30 seconds to explain. So what we are trying to say is you are trying to break down an aggregation, a summarization by, maybe by marital status. You might want to check the video again, to be honest. So please just check that part of the video. It's not a very difficult concept. I'm sure you will get it.
So it's like I understand it, but what I'm saying is when I put select marital status, it was not showing on my own. Like my DBO supermarket sale does not have the column for marital status.
There is another data that you have to add to your SQL. Are you not aware?
I'm not aware, sir.
Yeah, you should check your Discord because I sent it earlier today.
Okay.
Mr. Idrissa.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so for the breakdown of total customers by marital status, mine is showing like, that's underlining, that red underlining, which means like there's an error, though it's working, but I feel like maybe something is wrong.
That sounds familiar though, but since your query is working, right?
Yes.
So let's maybe we'll talk about that later.
All right.
That issue sounds familiar when so we'll talk about it later.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Can you assist with the interface view? I don't know what I press. My SQL screen is in full screen and can't seem to navigate the left hand options. Full screen. So if it's in full screen, we might want to just Google remove SQL from full screen. Maybe you'll find a solution like that, because I'm not sure that I know what the issue is, Madam Victoria. So you might want to come to view, perhaps. To probably come around view, maybe you would see something around that. So this is view, I can see full screen. So maybe this is what you have. Then you can probably take it off full screen, maybe. All right, hope that helps you. If not, just check online. All right, so let's continue, guys. Sorry.
Sorry for interrupting the class, sir. Please, I would like to ask a question. Can you hear me, sir?
Okay, please go ahead.
With respect to your last statement before we went for the break, you said something about group by is not usually necessary in some cases, and you gave an instance with that sum. I didn't get that due to bad network. When I joined back, you finished making your statements. Please, I would like you to let me recap.
Okay, this is the scenario. So when you don't have group by anything, any dimension, so you in this case here, when we ran it, we actually got a value, even though we did not have any group by. And that's because we are not breaking down the sum by anything. You can see we removed, there's nothing like branch or marital status or anything. So it's just like you are finding the sum itself.
Oh, all right. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you. So the next thing we want to look at, as I mentioned earlier, is having. Okay, so this is another clause that you need to know. So having clause is used to filter down the groups. Okay, so the way it works and the way I will try to make you understand is that having is the same as where. Okay, having is the same as where. However, the difference is that where can be used on your entire table, entire data set. And then having can only be used on a grouped data set. So it means that you have your original data, right? When we're doing the where clause, we're actually doing where on the whole data. But when you create a group by, when you use a group by to create something, you agree with me that that's not the normal data anymore. That's like a different data now that you are creating. So let me show you from Excel so that you can understand. So this guy now is like a different data entirely from the original data. Are you getting it? So this guy now is a different data entirely from this guy. So now here, if I'm interested in knowing the male customers that probably made a certain number of purchases, I can find them here directly. You will just get the list of all those customers. But here, if I'm interested in, oh, we don't have a lot of options here. Okay, so let me use this guy, this customer. I will still go back to SQL, you understand it. I'm just showing you what you're already familiar with. So just to prepare you. So here, if I'm interested in knowing which of the occupation actually have more than 50 customers. Are you getting the point? So which of the occupation actually have more than 50 customers? You will not be able to find that here in the data directly. Are you getting it? So it means that for you to know which of the occupation has more than 50 customers, you need to first find how many customers are in each of these occupation, right? So once you find the number of customers that are in each occupation, now you have something like this. Now you cannot decide and say, okay, among this occupation, this guy are the only two guys that have more than 50 customers. Do you get the step now? So the first one is you need to summarize the data. And then after that, you now use your condition, your where. But in this case, because maybe they wanted to distinct it, they decided that instead of using where here and also using where again after you grouped, let's not use the same thing. So let's use having. So that's why I said where and having are actually like the same thing. The only difference is that having is used on an already grouped data. So that's why having always come after group by. So you cannot have having if you don't have group by. Is it clear? Maybe it's not clear. Let's go to SQL. But I hope that is clear. So we'll use the same example that I mentioned, which is this occupation example. So let's go to SQL. Don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. So first, let's see a breakdown of total customers by what now? Occupation, right? Okay. So you already know how this query is going to work. So let me write it very quickly. So it's going to be select, not marital status now, it's going to be occupation. Okay. Count of customer key and then group by occupation. All right. So if I run this now, I have this guy. Okay. Now let's make it more interesting with this group by functionality that I said. So if I'm interested in knowing just those occupations that have more than 50 customers, okay? So of course, I told you that where can only come before this guy. So if I have where, and I say where, what are you going to even wear? Because like I said, where works on your original data set. And if you check your data set, which is your original data set, there is nothing that can help you to know whether a particular occupation has more than 50, because it has not counted it here. There's nothing here that is showing us that maybe they have more than. You cannot say where the last name of where the date of birth or where the marital status or where the annual. You get the idea. There's nothing in the original table. So you can only, the information that you need to filter can only be found after you have performed an aggregation. So where cannot work here. So where is out based on our requirement. So the way we can use that where is to now have having. Okay, so like I said, where having works just like where. It's just that it comes after the group by. So with this having now, it's not seeing the entire data set anymore. It is seeing this new data that has been created. So because this is like a new data that has been created out of the original data. Are you getting it? So out of this one now, so imagine you have this data. Imagine this is your original data. If I want occupation where the occupation is greater than 50, what am I going to write? I will say where the name of the column greater than. Is that not how you would do it with where? Is that not how you would do it with where? Nobody's there with me. It's like I'm the only one. Okay.
Yes.
So the same thing. So say having, now this is where it gets tricky because this column does not have name. You know, it doesn't, there's no name for this column. You can even see it says no column name. So you cannot say having no column name. Maybe that will work. I don't know. I've never tried it before. But obviously it doesn't have anything like no column name stored anywhere. So this is never going to work. So what you can do is having, you can copy this because this is the guy that populates this for us. Is it not? Yeah. So you can say having this guy now greater than 50. Okay. So when I run my query now, I'll be left with just those two that are greater than query. So this is how having works. So having works just like where, but it is used alongside a group by. So it means that, again, if you're asked in an interview, it's a possible question in an interview. What's the difference between where and group by? I've been asked before. So where it filters on the original data set, but having filters on the grouped data set. So it's after you have used your group by that you can only now use your where to filter what, you can now use your having to filter what you have already grouped out. I hope it is clear. Princess has a question. Please go ahead.
Okay, so I wanted to ask that, I think we've named the table. We don't need to copy that code, like the counts in brackets, customer key. Rather, we'll just put the name of the table, right? I mean the grouping.
Yeah. I don't
Did you
understand.
get what?
No.
Okay, I'm saying that, are they being with this count customer key I don't want to be ahead of the class, but had it been we've named the table, right? Rather than repeating the query, which the count into bracket customer key part, rather than repeating it, we'll just put the name of the table greater than 50, right? That's what I want to ask.
Yeah, that's if you stored the table, but here we've not stored the table. We've
We've
not
named the table.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's So here we don't have any this table. What she's trying to say, we will still do that later. I mean, doing that's under our data, the definition, one of those things I was talking about yesterday. So you can actually, that new data that you have, that grouped data, you can actually store it. So when you store it, you will just query it like, but that's not even part of what I want us to learn. The major thing I want you to learn here is that having. You understand? So that's like the most important thing. Okay. So now, that's having. That's all about having. So we'll still take other questions. But before I go further, I remember one of us was actually asking a question earlier. I think it was Isaac. And then maybe he's going to answer a bit of Princess's question. So rather than having no colon name, we can actually give this table that we created a name. Okay? So that will take us to another, it's not something difficult. So it's called alias. Okay? So alias like ALIAS. So just like AKA, this kind of thing, alias, this kind of thing that we say. So the same thing here. So you can actually give this colon, this guy, because it doesn't have a name, right? So anytime you have an aggregation like that, or you somehow formed a new colon, rather than leaving the name empty, blank, you can actually give it a name that you want, okay? So in this case now, I'm going to give it a name, all right? So I don't know if I should, well, you'll be watching the video, so I believe that you follow the step. I was trying to copy and paste and redo it again, but let me just do it here. So instead of leaving it that blank, so I can use the alias. So how do I use alias? It's very simple. So just say as, okay? As, all right? As, that's all. So as what? So I want this particular colon now, this guy here should be called, so you can give it a name. So I can say total underscore customers. Okay? So now if I run the query, rather than having no colon name, now it is total customers. This is a very useful concept. We'll be using it a lot, especially when we start doing a lot of compounding, creating a lot of tables and all of that, joins, and you definitely want to use it. So so it's used to, you can use it to name a table, you can use it to name a column, temporarily. So we actually have a slide for that, but since you guys took me ahead of the class, there's no problem about that. So just to answer your question about naming this. But if you use this guy here, it's still not going to work. I don't think so. And the reason is because, again, that table is not stored anywhere. So SQL does not recognize this total customers yet as a column. I don't want to take it further. I hope I hope you understand what I just said. If you don't understand, no worries. Just ignore it. Because that table, this table, I don't want to mention it because I believe, but remember the alias. So this is how it is done. So
Sorry.
no, don't ask on what I said, please. If it's what I said, just ignore it. Just ignore it. I don't want us to go further on that. Let's take the last one because we really have really important stuff to do. The last one is order by. Okay, so that's the last out of the big six. Don't forget, we are looking at big six. It's not like really, not big six sister, big six, like number 6, big 6. Yeah. So order by is the last one among these big 6. So from the name order by, so it's just like you're trying to order the way your data is coming out. So if you, I think in our, again, still in our example, you can see me referring back to what we did. So that's just to tell you that everything we are doing is not about the tool. It's about a concept. It's about like a process. They are all the same. So don't be too focused on the tool. You can actually achieve all these things with different tools. What matters most is your analytical thinking, your mindset. So you can see that I keep opening my Excel workbook just for you to see that everything that we have done so far in Excel, we can actually do them in SQL. Okay, so that's why I'm doing this. So there was a time where we needed to sort. Do you remember when we actually sort? Because if you look at this guy here now, for this one now, I think it is in descending order. No, this is in no order. This is like no order. This is no order. Now everything was in no order until we got to a point. So based on, because of our graph, you remember? And then we did something like sort, more sort options, ascending, descending, and then you get, so that's exactly what is going on here with the order by. So order by helps us to sort our data. That's all. Okay, so you can either sort in ascending or descending, just like we did in Excel. So let's see how it's done here. So I would leave this example. So let me use okay, which example did we use here in our SQL? So let me use this education level. Okay, so let's look at the total number of customers based on education level. Okay, so again, we can just copy our code here. So let me write it. So breakdown of total customers by education level. Education level. All right, so of course, you know, education level will be here, right? Education level, and here we are counting the customer key. So you can call them total customers, and then the breakdown will be by education level. So let me just add this. If you run this query, you are going to get an error. So this was what I was trying to explain, and Ayola helped me earlier. So why am I getting an error? Even though I have my group by, and I also have my count. So the reason I'm having an error is because this particular guy, which I have selected here, is not the one in my group by. So for your group by to work, whatever you are breaking down your aggregation with must be in your group by. So here now you can see I have education level. I'm trying to break down my count by education level, but I'm grouping by occupation. So it's never work. So this is what I was trying to show you earlier, that you can have your count and your group by is not going to work. So I need to change this to education level. I hope that those are just very simple stuff that you can run, you can make the mistake. So I'm just trying to prepare you before. So we add this. So you can see this is like just scattered. So 78, 26, 98. It's not really in any particular order, right? So I'm interested in this coming in descending order. So it means I want to see the highest first. I want to see the second, you know, in that order. So how do I do that? Very simple. Order by. Okay. So you can see I did not do having. There's no point to do having. So what it doesn't mean that because I did not do having, I cannot have group by. I cannot have order by. No. What I was saying earlier is that they have to go in that order. So you can see we are starting from select, and then we moved over to from, and then we don't have where. We went to group by. We don't have having. Now we can do order by. I will never put order by before group by. It's going to be rubbish. So order by. So what do you want to order by? Now, ask yourself. Let's ask ourselves. In Excel, we mentioned it. You can actually order by the education level. If you order by education level, so it is going to be alphabetical order, either in descending or descending. But what we actually want to do is that we want to see the total number of customers come first, right? All right, the one with the highest number of customers come first. So it means that we are ordering by this guy, right? So we are ordering by this guy. So order by, so again, it's similar to what you did with group by. This is the guy that is populating the customer key. This is the guy that is populating the total customers. So I want to order by this guy. Okay. So now look at your query, look at your result, and look at what happens when I run it. So when I run it, you can see that the order has changed. Okay. So now it is in ascending order. So you can see it's starting from 18, the list, and going up. And the reason for that is because by default, the order is ascending. Okay. So you can actually do ASC. That's also ascending. But if you don't put it, it's still going to give us the same result because by default, it is ascending. So if I want descending, which is what I will not descend, Jesus, but if I want this total customers to descend, right? So then I have to use BSC. Okay, so that's like the descending. You get the point now. So descending, now I can, so you can see now that we are having from partial collect, which is 107, That's the descending order, and then that way. Do you understand it? So default is ascending. I think for many of the programming language, many of the DBMS, RDBMS is ascending. So if you want descending, then you need to change that to descending. So once you've known these 6 guides, every other thing you'll be doing from here is just a build up. As you already know, in Excel, we first started with dealing with those simple functions, and then we started doing compounding them, bringing them together, and do more complicated stuff. So it's not a difficult journey. It's just a step-by-step journey. So let's have Mr. Ikena for your question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Idris. It's just something that I just find a little confusing, although you have explained it, but I still don't really. You called this function, you called the customer key instead of the alias which has been implemented in the system. So I was a little bit confused that since this one is already working in the system, I was thinking automatically it has stored. So when you are calling any function, it should be it's going to be that total customer. Instead, you call the customer key. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. I was going to come back to this because, Lord help me with this explanation, because this guy actually works with order by. As you can see now, I did not use count. I used it on purpose the first time. I was going to show you that now we can use total customers for our order by. Okay, because now I say order by total customers. So what is going on here? Lord have mercy. I honestly, I don't know how to explain this right now. But maybe it's one of those things that you would just accept for me like that, or if I find a better way to explain it. I know that it works, but I mean, explaining it honestly is somehow because of the kind of explanation I did earlier. So with order by, it works that you can use your alias actually, but it doesn't work with the having when you are doing your having clause, just like we saw earlier. Yeah, no explanation, but I will take note of that, and if I find a way to explain why this is the case, I will let you know. So, but I didn't want to confuse you, so I didn't want to mention it, but actually, I've actually been in an interview before that was around this question, and surprisingly, I remember that time. Okay, I was led not to say what. Yeah, please go ahead. Or if anyone asks explanation, it would be nice to hear.
It's not like I have an explanation. I just checked something, and it just popped up that it has something to do with execution, the order in which the queries are executed. I think probably it's executed after you recognize the alias, so you cannot use it with the having, the alias with the having. But the other, the group by, is executed before the select statement. So I just read it, so I cannot explain it very well. Well, I just saw that it has something to do with execution.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a slide there, actually. This is my previous class slide. So you can see, trust me, I will not do a lot of explanation on this. I don't want to confuse you guys, but you can see that there is an order. I don't want you to mix this order as the order of writing it. No. But this order here is the order of execution. So when you write your query, it's actually your from that is first dealt with. And then it goes to your where, and then it goes to your group by, it goes to your having, and then it selects everything before it does order by. So order by is actually the last, and it's about like, it has already returned total customers. Now he's seeing total customers. When he wanted to do having, it could not see total, it could not see total customers yet because it's not yet returned. It's still, see, let's, I told you that I know, but I don't know how to explain it. So
please, we are getting it the way you are saying it. I have guessed it. Yes, I have guessed it.
The way you explain it.
So if you look at this order, it helps you understand because the way your your server works, it goes to your from, it checks your from, which is logical. You look at from where you get, going back to the example of the bags. So you go to the bags, and then you begin to search whatever they ask you to bring based on the condition. And then if you have a group by, you do the grouping, and then you do the adding. But at that point, you have not brought it out. Everything is still like inside of that place. So if you are using a colon that is not recognized yet, that was why Alvin was not working with that new column, because it has not recognized it. It's still in the bag, it's still counting. So once it's done with Alvin, it now select, it brings them out with the new name that you have given. Because now select is number 5. By the time it's doing select, it's coming now out with total customers as that column name. So when you now use your order by can see the new name that you have given it, which is total customers. May the Lord give us understanding. Amen. Let's go. Let's continue. Did I just say that? Sorry, guys. Sorry. Sorry. I'm so sorry. All right. So, what that would say? What's the next thing? Okay. So I'm done. So hopefully you got that explanation. So. Okay, you guys lost me for a moment. So let me give you a practice example, something to try. So let's look at our supermarket sales. I want you to try something. This is how your questions will come, something like this. So I'm interested in knowing. I'm interested in knowing the payment method with the highest cost of goods sold. The payment method. So which of the payment method generated, I mean, if I can put that question that way. So which of the payment, I mean, I don't want to be giving you word for word, but I want you to understand so I want to see the top 3. Yeah, that's the word. So I want to see the top 3. You know, when I say top 3, it means you have to start from the highest. So I will not be saying ascending and descending on that in your mini project. So top 3, you should know that top 3. So it means starting from the top, the second, you understand? So give me the top 3 payment method based on the cost of goods sold. So you are using your supermarket data. So you have 1 minute for that. 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. Very quickly. 1 minute. Do you understand the question? I hope you did. Oh, I hope you,
please. Sorry.
So we want to look at, okay, let me just put it in simple terms. So break down the top 3 payment methods based on cost of goods sold. So cost of goods sold is COGS colon in your table based on cost of goods sold. So supermarket sales table. So 45 seconds more. So I want the top 3. There are actually 3 payment methods there anyway. So you might just steal, but there's a reason why I'm saying that top 3 now, because in a case where we have more than, I will be able to show you how you can do that. So anyone who has done it? Mr. Henry, what is no? What is the no for? Is it that you don't understand the question or what? I've written it on the this thing. Anyone is done? So anyone? No one?
Can I try, sir?
Yes, please go. No, not try. No, not. Have I been?
No, like, sorry, I'm done with my own. So,
yeah, with confidence. Yeah, let's go. That's it. So, yes, go ahead, sir.
Okay, so
voice note has changed. Yeah, impressive. Nice.
Select payment.
Okay, select payment.
Comma, count cost of goods sold. That's COGS.
Count
COGS.
Okay, COGS. We'll fight today. I feel like we'll fight today. Okay, COGS. Compressor board.
It's at the top.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
From supermarket sales.
From supermarket sales. Supermarket sales. Okay.
Group by payment.
Group by payment. By payments. Okay. That's all?
No, order by, of course, count COGS.
Order by this guy, right?
Yes.
That's all?
Let's make it descending, sir.
Descending. Okay, like this, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can I run it?
Yes, sir, please.
All right. So yeah, is this correct, everyone? This is
I'm thinking that count COGS shouldn't to be some COGS, since cost of goods sold is a numerical value, shouldn't to be summing total sales.
Mr. Gbenga, do you agree with that? Or you disagree? Let's start a cut. So those that said count, aye. Those that said sum, nay. Oh yeah.
Nay.
Nay.
It's some.
Nay.
It's like the nays have it all. Someone else from some and count. Something else from some and count. I don't understand that. Okay, I think a lot of people are saying some. Mr. Gbenga, what do you think? Are you trying to change? Don't be intimidated though. I mean, I'm with you. Okay? No fear. If you think it's count, please stay with your count. But I want us to look at it together. So do you think it should have been count?
I am staying on count, sir.
I love this kind of class where people stay on their. So let's discuss. So guys, why is it count? Why is it sum? Can anyone give a comprehensive explanation on why you think it should be what it is? Yeah, we have someone who said it should be count. Can you tell us why? Let's hear.
Yes, sir. So the reason I am supporting the count is that, we want to know the highest, what is it called, the payment method people use. Now, some people, let's say POS, cash, and transfer. Some people can make transfer. We can have more transfer than paying by cash. But if you say we want to use sum, at times some people, when you want to sum, even though we have the count of people using POS to pay more than the cash, we may have, when we sum, the amount of cash may later be more than the sum. So that is why I'm actually going with the count, because we want to know the highest payment method, not actually the amount.
You have set another question for yourself.
Understand.
So the answer is actually sum. I see where you are coming from, but I think maybe the way I put the question, so I'm feeling guilty now, because I feel like maybe the way I put the question. So that's why I said based on the costs of goods sold. So what she's explaining is just like saying in which payment method did they use the most. So when I say that, I did not say based on anything. I just said which one did they use the most. So did they use the most means that which one did they use more? And the way you can get that is by summing, by counting. If you want to know which country has more people, or which country use a particular type of count, you start counting now, right? So that's logical, and that's what she's trying to say. But what I asked, if you look at the question, is that based on cost of goods sold. So if you check cost of goods here, there is this person now, this customer, this other one now, the total cost of goods sold is 522. So I think is the way I put the question. But please take note of the questions next time. So based on cost of goods sold, so it has to be sum. Yeah, it's just similar to that one that I used as explanation to Abby earlier. So I think a lot of us are still having which is normal, but we need to ensure that you people master this very well. So maybe during the week, hopefully I remember, I can find some simple tests that you guys can do to master this. You need to really understand this so that you won't be summing up when you should be at counting, and you won't be counting when you should be summing up. Okay, so I will try to look for a resource that that will help you master this, because I think a number of people are still shaking, and I don't want you to shake on that foundation. All right, so it should be some. Okay, it should be some. It should be some. But thank you for attempting. So here also is going to be some. So if you do that, every other thing is correct. So if you do this now, you will see that the total sum that's the total number of transactions that was done with cash is 106,000 naira. Not naira now, but whatever amount. And then e-wallet is 104,000 and this 95,000. Okay, so that's the total number of goods that was the transaction that was carried out. But if you are looking at how many people used this payment method, then you can use count like you suggested. All right. So should we take a break now? No, we just came back about 20 minutes ago, so we still have more time to do something else. So let me check my presentation. We are done with the big C's, and that's pretty much it. We've done alias, so we should be doing alias now. So the next thing we want to see properly now is functions. Okay, so this guy is here again. So if you didn't like functions in Excel, we are back. So, we are back. So the functions are actually everywhere. You know, I told you then. So because they are like help us to speed up several operations. So the same thing here. You can see SQL functions are predefined, built-in function operations that allow us to perform specific tasks and calculations. You remember there it was with formulas, right? So instead of adding numbers together, you have like some function that can help you do everything together. So it makes life really easy. And just like in Excel and many other languages, there are different types of functions. So we talk about scalar functions here. It's the same over there. Maybe it could be a different name, but they are all under the same category. So scalar functions. So those are like, okay, you see them now. We have string functions, okay? And then we have date and time functions. Surprisingly, for the first time in a while, I taught Excel without really doing a lot on date function. I mean, teaching you myself. But in the mini projects that you did, I'm sure some of you, I mean, those who did it, you worked on data and time functions. So they exist. So you talk of hour, you talk of year, and all of these things. And then we have mathematical functions. We have logical functions as well. So logical functions are those like if this, and you know, those are logical because you are doing something based on logic. If this is met, then do this. If not, so logical function. So let's see in the next slide. So I try to like show you some of them. So common scalar functions in SQL, as you already know, familiar with now, count, sum, we have average as well. So if you are interested in knowing the average amount that customers are spending based on the particular gender or based on the particular occupation, you know now what to do, right? So instead of count, instead of sum, you use what? Average, AVG. Okay, so if you are looking for the minimum amount in a particular column, you do mean the maximum. So play around these ones when you are free. Try to experiment around them and see. To master this better, I would advise that you open your Excel side by side. Okay, so you can use your Excel for confirmation. So you don't have to go look for someone to help you validate so you can check in your Excel, see what you expect to get, and then try to write a query that will help you do that. So once you get that, then you know that you are good to go. So these are like common scalar functions. We've looked at them. And then we also have string functions. So we add them in what's it called now? What's the name of that guy? In Excel. So we had concat. I remember concat. It's also here. So if you did not like those things then, like them, because even when we get to Power BI, they are all still there. They are waiting for you. So concat, the same thing. It brings number together. Substring, this works more like mid now, so it's like a substring. So you're trying to take a part of the string out. So we'll probably see how that works. And then we have length. I think we did length in Excel when we're doing length, right? That is length, but here it is length. So these are just the many things that are different. So we have upper and lower. So upper is like uppercase. So if you want all your values, we did not use it in Excel, but it's also there. So you want all your this thing to be in uppercase, or you want them to be in lowercase. These are like for strings, you know, they are for letters and all of those. And then we have logical functions. So we already saw some of them yesterday, which is and or. So we also have not. Okay, so we'll see that as we progress. So let's just quickly take a look at some string functions. But before I show you, I want us to take a break so you guys can relax again. So let's take 5 minutes, and when we are back, we'll round up the session with some string. So we'll actually be doing exactly the same thing that we did here with some of these functions and see how it is done. We are using the same data, right? So no, you don't need to be afraid. Everything we'll be doing is just what we've done before. So for instance, we'll not do all this one yet. That will be tomorrow. For instance, how we were able to, what did we do here to get full name? Do you remember when we were doing Excel? Who can remind me? What did we do here? What did we do here? Anyone? To get full name from prefix, first name, and last name.
Concatenate.
We'll use that concatenate function and see how it works in Excel also. And any other thing that I think we can do within the time we have. So let's take 5 minutes break, and then we'll be back. So if you have any question in between, you can ask me. I'm here.
Sorry, I have a. Hello?
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yes, I just wanted to ask this question ahead of time. I am having this challenge. I am just trying to see what I can do ahead. If not, then I would go for the option of going for a Windows laptop. Do you have any way I can just install Power BI? You said we are going to have a Power BI class in the future, yes?
Yeah.
So I can just start now to get myself ready about that. I don't like I lost
on Mac, right?
On Mac, yes, MacBook.
Have you been able to install SQL?
I'm still having this issue, but I have gotten to the step that I know that I could finish it, but it's not a problem.
Okay.
In the Docker mode, yeah, it's going to be possible. But I've
yeah,
not
once you have Docker, I think okay. So I would check and send to you. I mean, you can actually check these things on YouTube. But
I have checked. Yes, before I came to you, I've checked. I used to do this parallel virtual machine, but those people are not doing well.
Yeah, that's it. You have to use that virtual machine actually. So I mean, that's it. I think I gave that disclaimer at the beginning of our session about learning these new tools with Mac. It's not really, because a lot of resources you'll find are on Windows.
Mac is just brilliantly useless. I don't know.
Don't let the Apple users here. I mean, the task is use case, but for a beginner, actually, if you're a beginner and you buy Mac, I don't know where you want to be, because I mean, the more resources you will find with Windows. So when you've mastered with Windows, then you can move, because of course Mac has its advantage. That's the truth, but not at the beginner level. Brilliantly useless. That one it shocked me. But yeah, if I find any useful resources, I will let you know, and I will send before time so that you guys can spend time on it.
Yes, I really also appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks. Well done. Okay, so any other question? Let me see some comment on the chat.
Hello, sorry. Good evening. Hello, good evening. Sorry. For the data we were running, I was going through yours and I see that yours was up. For mine, I have to scroll down before I get to see maybe my data is being correct or not. Is there a way I can do it so that any new data I'm running should be up so that I won't have to scroll down to check it?
I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. Can you like when you run
for the SQL query, any new query I am running, I had to go down like it's
don't go down. You have to scroll down.
Yes, I have to scroll down rather to get it. And I noticed yours was up. So I felt like, is there a way so that I will not be scrolling down every time to know maybe what I'm running is correct or not?
Okay, maybe when I go back to my screen, but I'm always scrolling down too. So maybe but you will show me when we will go back in 35 seconds. So maybe I can help you there. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So Mr. Shilfumi, do you have a question? Okay, no question. Today's class, I think it's a bit really soft. We are not doing a lot of things. And you people now say you're having a day. We do not even do anything today, in my opinion. We just do it. It's been a lot of talking, but it's nice that we do this kind of talking. So let's continue. So we are back. Welcome back. So can you show me what you are talking about, Ma? Are you there? Who was that again?
I'm going to snap now and send to the group chat now so that you understand.
Are you talking of this result here? This result here? Yours is where? Is it up like this?
No, it's not.
It's down like this.
I have to, like the other data have run before, they are up. So for every new data I am running, I have to scroll down to see.
Are you highlighting before you run, or you are just running it?
I'm just running it. I didn't.
Don't just run it too. If you run it, this is what you're having. Something like this.
Yes, exactly.
You did not watch yesterday's video, or you missed it. But we said anytime you want to run, you have to highlight the code and then you run it.
I was trying to highlight actually, but it wasn't copying everything. So I have to type it.
So go and do it again. Thank you. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's continue. Let's have the last part of our class today. So we'll be looking at those functions, like I said, concat. We have a couple of them. So again, similar to functions in Excel, we cannot exhaust them, right? So we'll just look at the ones we can look at that we need, and then we'll build up on them moving forward. So one example is the one that I know you're already familiar with, which is the full name. Okay. So if I write my query now, select, who is that? I need to meet everyone. So if I write my query now to select all from customer, okay, and then I run this query, I have all of these, right? So now I need to create another column. By now, you should know the way to create another column is simply by doing what? Adding a comma, and then you write whatever you want to write. That's logically how we create column, new column here. So there's no option to like right click and do insert like you did in the Excel. So everything here is code. There's no GUI, there's not much of GUI here. So now I need a first name column, right? So I'm going to do comma. And how is my first name going to be obtained? By joining prefix, first name and last name together, okay? So I know that there is a concat function. Okay, so you can see all the functions are in like pink. I don't know why it's pink. Pink is ladies' color, but yeah, the function, well, but I don't know, but maybe SQL can. This Microsoft SQL can answer that. So, but this is this pink or purple? Is it purple or pink? Maybe my eyes is doing, is it purple? I think it's pink, right?
It's pink.
Pink, okay. I just want to be sure that I don't have this thing. So concat, we want to concat the prefix. So you write the first one, prefix, you have to search for it. Okay. All right. And then the same method actually. So after conquer, after prefix, what do you have next? You remember everything we did is what we are doing again. So please follow along. Space, right? And then what again? First name. Is that not it? You people are not with me again. First name. Do you understand? You are not.
Yes, I understand.
And then space.
I understand, sir. We don't want to interrupt you.
Thank you. So last name. Okay. So once we do this, let's run it and see. So once I run my query, I can see now that I have a new column here, right here. This is our full name. So you can see saying no colon name to give it a name as what? As full name. And when I run it, I have full name. So this is how you'll be building up your new. So everything, all those steps that we did there, we will be doing everything here again. So we can start from now. Let me see if we still have, because we'll be using functions. So I think we can start from now, and then gradually we will enter this one, which is case. So I will show you when to use that. So let's continue. Let's see what else we can add to our table. So we've added last name. Let's see the original data. So we've added last name and then birth date. So we extracted year. Do you remember? Year from birth date. Okay. So that takes us to another. Let me bring it down. There's a way you can, I will teach you that later, how you can make your code more readable. Okay. Because you don't want it to be long. So let me break it. So I'll break it here and then something like this. It makes your code easy to read. Okay, so you have all your columns that you are searching for. I'm using tab to bring it in case you are wondering. So now I want to get the year. Okay, so I think there's a year function also, just like in Excel, right? So the year of what? Year of this birth date. Oh, I hope you people understand this thing. So year of the birth date, and then if you run it, of course, you just have the year. Let's see. So can you see 1969 and all of that? So you can actually change it to what? As year. Just everything that we did in Excel, we are doing again. So with function. So this is, because I know it is year function. So if you, it's not all the SQL that uses year. Some don't. If it depends on the version of SQL that you are running. So all you just need to do is Google. For instance, I can go to Google and say extract year from date MySQL. So okay, it uses year function as well. So let me use PostgreSQL. So that one use extract function. So whatever you are using, all you need to do is find what that guy uses, and you can do the same thing. Okay. So what else did we extract out? So we did the birth date, we did the year of birth, and then from the year of birth, we now calculated age. Right? So do you remember we calculated the age? How many of us remember? So we actually calculated like current date, which is the date of today. Remember, right? The date of today minus, because that's how we can make it dynamic. So that you can see it's not about tool, it's about the thinking. The tool will only help you to carry out what you have already taught. It's not the tool that will teach you what you will do. Do you get? So now I need to find a way of getting today in my SQL. So I don't know it often. So let me go to MySQL. So today in MySQL, MS SQL. So to get the current date and time in SQL Server, use the getDate function. Are you seeing it? So getDate function. You can, if you read more on this, you will see different different recommendations, you need to learn how to research. I cannot stress that. At this point now, you need to learn how to find a lot of things on your listing. So this is another one saying get date. So when you use get date, how many of us have been working with this W3 schools? Anyone? Please, I recommend, because it's really good. You can even run your SQL there. They have their own server. This is where I started learning Python programming in 2016. Yeah, I think so. This is where I started from. In the bus, I will be writing code. So it's really good. So if you run this here now, you can actually see the result. So get date. So it's giving me the current date, which is 25th of July with the time. Can you see exactly the same thing? So you can, please, I recommend this guide for you. So when you do select get date, you can try it in our own site too, and let's see what we have. So if I try it here, of course, because it's just it's a built-in function, it doesn't need anything from anywhere, because it's already like it knows what it's searching for. So that's why it's working directly. So you can see that it returned exactly the same date, just as when we type today in SQL. Remember, in Excel, we got the same date. So that's exactly how this is doing. So once you have this now, you can subtract your date from it, the same logic, right? And then you'll get your age. So let's try it. Should we? So let's come here again. Okay. So I will say get date. So it will not be select get date, of course. It should just be get date. So this get date now will return today's date, right? Minus, so what is the selector from customer? Selector from customer. Oosh. I'm looking for the name of that. Okay, nobody's helping me. Let me help myself. So select all from customer. I just want to see the name of that column, birth date. So get date minus birth date. Are you getting me? This will give us the age, right? So let's run it and see. So when I run it, now there is an issue. Don't see when you see error. I know many of us want to see red like this. We want to run it. We're already coming to Discord. Even when it's something you can read. Huh? Don't always run away when you see error. I told you from the beginning of our camp that troubleshooting is a skill that you must learn. So read errors when you see them. Someone said don't read now. So the error is that the data type, date time, and date are incompatible in subtract operator. So when I did select get date earlier, look at it. What is the result it returned? It returned the date and the time. So that's like date time. It's the same thing that we have in Excel. The date time together. But the data that you have, the birth data that you have in your data is just a date. There's no time there. So it's like you are trying to subtract a letter from a number. Like they are not the same type of data. So subtracting them will give you an error. So what do I do? So it means that since this one does not have time, all I need here is just the date. I don't even need time. If you want to calculate someone's age now, do you need time to the time that they gave birth to? Don't just need the year. So what I need now is to find a way of getting only the date, or you could even do only the year to make things easy for you. There are several ways you can do this. So you can extract only the year from this and only the year from this. I think that was that what we did in Excel. Let me see how we did our age. Okay, yeah, that was what we did.
Yes.
So we converted our today to year, right? And then we subtracted our year from it. So you can actually do the same thing. So it means this get date now, you will put it inside of a year function. But I don't think it will work though. But let me try. So you put it inside of a year function. It means that this year is going to this year function is going to extract the year out of this. Okay, I think it should work. It's going to extract the year out of this minus, then you also put this one inside of a year. Okay. All right. And then when you do it and you run your query, you will have your age. The same logic. It's about thinking and bringing it together. Different piece and joining it together. Why is it for me to teach you SQL straight up like this? Is because you have done Excel with me, and I know what you're reading. I mean, we have been doing this journey. I'm just taking SQL straight up, I will not go fast to this point. So because we've already done this in Excel, I believe that now we should do it in Excel, and we are just trying to see how it can be done in SQL. Okay, so what we did, logic, we extracted the year from the get date. The get date will give us today's date. We extracted the year out of it, and then we extracted the year out of this birth date as well, and then we got the age. So now it's saying no column name. If I want to give it, I'll say as what? As age. Okay, and when you run your query again, you have this guy. So that's how you continue. So the next thing, I don't want to do this one yet because I will do it tomorrow. Okay, because all this, like this one now, when we created it, we used an if. Okay, so how do you do if? I know if is one of those topics that a lot of people also found. I think many people later got it anyways, but our leg was a bit shaky on it. So how to do that same if, we'll do it tomorrow. That's the case statement, and it's very important as well because you know obviously that if is important in Excel. So case is also important here because your assignment will be based on that also, your project, so you need to really know it. So, but I will not teach you today. We'll start it when our brain is fresh tomorrow, and then we'll see. So let's try more stuffs. So again, all these things were built based on if, like this single. So we said if S is this. So tomorrow we'll see all of those things. It will really be interesting, trust me. So I just want to see more stuffs here that we did, that we can, a lot of the things we did here were if. So I don't think we have any other thing that we applied a function. Okay, so we have this one. So you remember when we extracted username? I think I'm talking too much and you people are silent too much. So let me take question.
Okay, sir. Question?
Yeah, question.
All right, so the concat function is not running here, sir. I've tried multiple times, it's not working.
What's the error message, sir?
Message 321, level 15, state 1, line 100. Prefix is not a recognized table int option.
In what?
Prefix is not a recognized table int option.
Recognized table. Are you querying from customer?
Yes, sir.
Can you snap your query and post it on Discord? I will see it now.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right, sir. Let me do that.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Any other question? Anyone? Nobody asked question. Hey, I don't believe that I don't have question. We've done a lot of things today. Hey, my people.
For me, this SQL, I'm just paying attention more. I think maybe with more classes, I will get there.
No, don't wait for more classes. We say with more practice.
With more practice.
Practice, yeah. Not with more. If you are waiting for more classes, it will be more confusing. So with more practice, if you practice this, there's something here. It's everything that we did in Excel. Seriously, it's not. It's the same thing we did in Excel. Honestly, it's not hard at all. You know, SQL is one of the topics a lot of us came for based on the survey. So I honestly hope that a lot of us will leave with our Excel skills at least for our SQL skills at least for. So please practice again. Practice. Check out all the things. All right, let's take questions. I will not teach anything. I think that's all for today. We'll continue from case tomorrow. So let's use the remaining time for questions. Yeah, Mr. Ikichuku, please go ahead with your questions. Sir.
Okay. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay. So I was looking at something. Assuming we write the syntax in lowercase, is there a way we can highlight it and then change it to uppercase? If let's say in Excel we can do it with trim and proper.
With trim and proper. With trim Trim is for taking out spaces. Am I missing out on something?
Maybe. Okay. Yes. Proper or something. Uppercase. Like, is there a way we can change our syntax from lowercase to uppercase, just like you have it here?
Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, we can. So I think I mentioned those. Those are the upper. If you check your here, so we have upper and lower. So the same method. So try it. So select upper and a colon and see the result. It will give you all package. It will give you lower. We also have proper case, which is like the normal sentence. I hope that answers your question. So try this yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying? I hope.
So I'll just try.
Or you want me to show you? Okay. So
yes, sir.
We have first name now. First name, every first name here is in capital letter. Okay. So if I want it to be in lowercase, so I will just do select lower. Lower is also another function. And then I will put the first name there. So when I, first name, this one. And when I run my query, I have only lowercase, so it's not that hard. You understand? So it's the same. So, but all these things are when I need it.
I do some.
When you need to use it, you use it. Okay. Ayola, yeah, please go ahead.
Hi, Idris. Good evening. So somebody else complained earlier that whenever he's writing out column names from the new table that you sent, the customer file, that it always has this red line under, and it's the same. It's running, or it's the same. And when I hovered over it and just clicked on it, it always shows invalid column name or something. Everything is running, but I don't know why it keeps, giving that swirly line on that red swirly line, like I spelled something wrong. When you spell something wrong in Microsoft Word and it does not recognize it.
Yeah.
So I don't know why it's doing that.
Yeah, like I said, I ran into that some time ago, and honestly, I don't even know how things started working out. So I'm going to have to check that again for you guys. So that's it.
All right, thank you. We're hoping to get feedback on Discord. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Idrissa.
Yeah. So
So now it's working. So it was a problem with the case that we used.
Okay. I'm glad that you fixed that. Well done. So any other question?
Yes, I have a question.
Sorry, there is a noise. That's why I muted everyone. So please unmute again.
So I lost it. What is responsible for the red line under? I lost the internet a little bit.
Even me, I don't know. So I told them I would check, and I had that some time ago in my last class. And somehow when I came back to SQL, it was working fine. So I honestly can't explain what happened. So I will have to figure that out again. Okay. All right. So yeah, any other question? Any other question? No question. Wow. Okay. Yeah, Mr. Abiola James, please go ahead. Let's take the final question. Quickly. I don't know. But I will only type it. I'm in a noisy place. Yeah, you can put it in your Discord then if it's like something you would type. Because we might not be able to wait for the typing. Okay, so if there's no more question, again, guys, please practice. We didn't do a lot today, honestly. If you practice this in 30 minutes, I'm sure you will master it. I'm very, very sure. These are very, very simple stuff that we did. So tomorrow we'll move to a new level, talking about the case, like I mentioned. We'll see how we can do those ifs, because a lot of things we did in our Excel was if you remember. So we'll see, it's very important. So we'll see how that works. And then we can round up for the week where we can take our mini project. And by next week, we'll be looking at more complicated stuffs, more interesting stuff, not complicated. And I believe that as we go, your SQL skills will we'll definitely we'll get there. Yeah. So thank you so much for tonight. It was nice having you guys again. So see you tomorrow, 8 p.m. Central European time. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.